Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Gametime Gents podcast. It is me, Nardy, here with Fish and Zolt. We have a very exciting episode for you guys. It is the My Guys episode. Actually, that's what the fantasy footballers call it. We call it the Dudes We Like. The Dudes We Like episode, and we're very excited to share who we think is going to be some fantasy studs this year. But before we get into that, we do have some sad news to talk about. We have a lot of players that could miss week one. Some recent injuries are picking up, so I'll just read through these. These are players that could potentially miss week one: Ashton Genty, Jeremiah Love, James Conner, Kenny Walker, Tyler Warren, Puka, Zay Flowers, CMC, Keaton Mitchell, Jamar, and Breece Hall. So those last two
and
will
Sam Laporta
probably
that you
play.
asked about earlier.
Sam Laporta as well. He's got. I think he needs to be put into like animanium or something. He's struggling. Yeah, those are players to keep an eye on. Always keep an eye on their backups. If Jeremiah Love and James Conner both go out, Tyler Allgeier is immediately a guy that I want on my roster. I know Jeremiah Love's injury. Well, either of these two guys are not going to miss the whole year, but you could get some serious value out of the first couple weeks if they do both miss. Fish, would you like to talk about your sad news?
Yes, I would. It really hurts to kind of say it's a big pain point. I was driving to work the other day and got a notification from a few credible sites that our boy Trey Benson has been cut from the Cardinals, which understandable. They did have, they still have James Conner. They obviously drafted Love. They took in the vulture, Allgeier. With a couple flashes in the pans that he had over the last couple of years and injury, it just made sense to them to cut it. Trey Benson manages, though. This is a good thing because now he is not limited to being that fourth roster spot. Hopefully he goes to a team. Maybe he'll fill in a backup role. It's funny because I saw that happen and I immediately went to the chat and see what everybody's talking about. And you guys remember Marlon Mack? Remember the Marlon Mack fiasco? So saw his name just, it's Marlon Mack season. He's coming back. So Trey is still very young, barring any injury or anything like that. Really hasn't had a true chance. We've seen that with a few players in the league this year and last year and the year before that, and then they really kind of broke out into their own thing. So hopefully, keep an eye on him. I'd pick him up, scoop him. He's still young enough, has the athletic capabilities to really do something. It's just a matter of obviously what team he goes to. So looks like a backup role, but we know how football works and how injuries go. So it might not be worth a bad investment in just stashing him on the bench.
You have a dream landing spot for him?
No, nothing right now. It seems like everybody, more and more teams have come out that they're going to go ahead and use that. Obviously, we've talked about it several times, but a lot more teams are open about the two-headed 50-50 time split for a lot of the running backs. So he'll probably, unfortunately, be out there for a little bit just on free waivers, and then, 49ers wouldn't be too bad if CMC doesn't pan out. I know they got a plethora of running backs there, but they're also dealing with a number of injuries. Trey Benson kind of work out of the backfield, catch it as well. He's a big physical back, so almost kind of reminds me of a David Johnson type.
Go to Vegas.
South runner. So I don't know if he's going to go to Vegas, not with that Mike Washington kid there who, has done really well so far in preseason. But 49ers would be too bad, especially how they operate in their system. So.
Yeah, 49ers would be interesting. I mean, I think Benson, is he missing this entire year due to his knee injury or?
I don't think so. He should be game eligible. I'll fact check that here in a little bit, but I don't think he's going to miss that much time.
I thought it was just a meniscus, but maybe it was more than that. The whole reason he got cut. Yeah, it sucks for Trey Benson managers. I mean, I know you've been high on the kid for a while, so once you saw that or once you sent that happened, I was kind of like, it sucks for Fish.
Yeah, I still got high hopes. We'll see what happens. Still a believer. He's got all the traits there. It's just a matter of getting a
Green,
chance.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Bay, even the Vikings wouldn't be a bad option either. I mean, you got
They got Aaron Jones is getting up there, and
Aaron Jones is old.
Rangers getting up there. There's still
best running back in the league, Jordan Mason.
Packers are forecasting a possible suspension for Josh Jacobs, so they're preparing for it. Now, if it happens or not, but I mean, Jacobs is also getting up there in age too. His shelf life is getting, especially with the amount of carries he's had, he's getting up there to kind of relinquish the role. All you card playing guys out there, a little relinquished actually, but yeah, I don't know. There's a few teams out there. Hopefully, he gets picked up, and then I'd stash him. I'm stashing him wherever I can.
So to comment on if he's out for the season or not. So because he was placed on IR before final roster cuts, he can't. So say he gets cleared, he couldn't go back and play for Arizona if they were for some reason decide to pick him back up. But if he gets an injury settlement, then he can go and sign with a team and potentially play somewhere. It's a weird situation. And it was his meniscus, and he needed surgery on it.
Interesting. Okay. Meniscus is like if you're going to tear something in your knee, I think that's the one thing that you want to tear, from what I understand.
Very common.
Yeah. But before we get into our dudes we like, the rest of that Disney collab drop, boys. And I don't know if Fish, you saw these. I know Zoltowski definitely did.
I absolutely did.
But some interesting picks, I will say. Chiefs with the big bag of
also look at the price.
Yeah, these are all the sweatshirt prices, $119. A lot of US dollars there, but
insane for
people are going to buy this stuff. Like they're going
to. Dude, if they had it in my size, I'd buy everything. But they don't have it in Zoltowski size. So
I think Amy and I were looking when this dropped. One of the teams was already sold out, and I can't remember which one it was.
Probably the Eagles.
It definitely wasn't Seattle because people are pissed about the Seattle one. But these are ones that were already released or at least alluded to. Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks got the Mine Birds from Finding Nemo, which that's a tough one.
They're like a hive mind.
I guess you're trying to put a positive spin on it.
I don't know.
The Browns did end up getting Pluto. I personally wanted Slinky Dog. I think Slinky Dog's got a little bit more edge to him. I thought Goofy would have been very fitting.
Too cool for Cleveland, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little bit.
However, Pluto is one of the OGs, so
yeah, I'm not upset with Pluto by any means. I'll probably get at least a T-shirt, or like you said, it's not really in our size, so I'll get Amy a T-shirt. But yeah, it's a lot of these other ones are really, really cool. Like the Chargers
with Hercules.
Chargers is very cool. Some don't make quite much sense. Like the Packers got Chewbacca.
That's like hot, like because he can withstand the cold. Like Lambeau is the frozen tundra. Like, yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
It does make sense. Unfortunately, as much as I hate it, it makes sense.
The biggest thing to me, though, is Bullseye is featured on 2 shirts, but he did not get his own shirt. So he's with Jesse for the Texans and Woody for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
but he didn't. Like the Colts picked some dude named Horace Horsecollar.
It's old. That's
a 20s.
That's a throwback. Yeah,
I don't get
that one's weird. Did they pick it or did
whoever
the fans
picked
it?
I
don't
know.
A
mistake.
The Packers one is cool.
The Packers one is cool. It. Bears got blue. That was obvious.
Oh, the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah,
yes.
And the shirt and the hoodie. Look, the Seattle Seahawks crew neck is sold out, so obviously people don't hate that much.
Apparently not. I would be pissed personally.
That hoodie is pretty sick.
The
Saints got the fat gator from Peter Pan.
Lewis. No, he's from Princess and the Frog. He plays.
Oh, is he? My bad.
He plays jazz. It's extremely fitting.
That's cool.
Sorry, I know my Disney.
Broncos got
from Rapunzel. Obviously, the Vikings got Thor.
I would imagine you would own that if you could.
Oh yeah.
The Detroit Lions Simba collab.
I knew it was either going to be Simba or if they somehow went for Mufasa as well.
I would have thought a Scar. Scar would have been cool to have.
Scar would have been cool too. Yep, forgot about Scar.
What do we think of the Steelers with Pete? That kind of weird to anybody else?
Is it Pistol Pete?
No, it's just
I don't know.
It's Pete, big fat Pete from Goofy movie.
You mean like the OG Mickey Mouse bad guy? I don't know.
Kind of weird. A lot of these other ones, Shere Khan for the Bengals, obviously. Bagheera for the
Cardinals
Panthers.
one is so bad.
The Cardinals one is bad.
Iago.
It's Jafar and Iago. So I guess Jafar's on the shirt as well. The Rams got Sully, which is cool and kind of weird.
Yeah. So, no, that was with the Chargers. Yeah, and then King Triton for the Dolphins makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
The one that I don't hate it, but it's so weird that they went with Pepita from Coco, the Alebrije, instead of Sabor from Tarzan, the actual jaguar.
Yeah.
But I've
never seen Coco.
Wonderful movie. You'll bawl like a baby at the end, but it's wonderful.
I guess it's because most of these are not bad guys. And Sabor was kind of always the villain.
I guess.
The Falcons is super cool. Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that one is cool. But Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's very cool as well. No, I thought most of these were like home runs, and then some of them were.
Oh, dude, that zip hoodie, the Vader one.
It's very nice.
The zip hoodies are sick because they have like the patches, like with the teams and with the characters as well on the sides. They're very cool. And they're all super cool. I'd spend all of the money if I could.
Maybe it's a good thing we can't.
Yeah, probably.
Are you guys ready to get into the dudes we like?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so basically how this is broken down, each of us picked a breakout, a sleeper, a flyer, and somewhat of a steer clear player, or a group of players in my case. So the breakouts, these are guys that you want on your team, no matter what the format is. You want them on Dynasty, Redraft, anything. Sleepers are guys that I would recommend taking in the later rounds of a redraft. They're probably already owned in Dynasty. Flyers, these are guys that have juicy situations for Dynasty leagues. Maybe not necessarily for this year, but for years to come. And then steer clear, these are dudes for redrafts this year that we're saying stay away from. They're in a crappy situation, or they're already injured going into the year, so stay away from that. But you'll see that these are color coded in a way. So orange is myself, green is Fish, and then blue is Zoltowski, obviously because of our favorite team colors here. But this is where
blue. Get it right.
We can get into the dudes we like. So my breakout candidate for the 2026 season, a guy that you're going to want on your roster, is Isaac Tesla. He's now the third receiving option for the very high-powered offense of the Detroit Lions. Last year, Tesla did play. He got 16 receptions on 27 targets for 239 yards and 6 touchdowns. We already talked about it in the previews for the divisions. The Lions were one of the most throwing teams, one of the most high-powered offenses. Tesla is going to really kind of climb into that third spot and really be a big target for Jared Goff. He's 6'4", 214 out of Arkansas. He's going to be, I think he's going to be a great standout player this year. He's got the ability to catch crazy passes. We've seen it in regular season. I believe we've even seen it in big games. I think he caught a really crazy touchdown in that. Maybe that's what that picture's from, Zoltowski. You can correct me if I'm wrong. On
I
Thanksgiving
think that
Day.
was against the Bears. I know, and then the week 1 against the Packers too. The only passing touchdown they had, it was this insane one-handed, like somehow got 2 feet in snag that he had. So, and then Christmas Day, I remember watching him catch a pass on like second down in their own in their own zone, and I'm like, yep, he's going to touchdown, placed a bet and won on that drive. So
he's going to be a great red zone target for Goff, especially if Sam Laporta does miss some time. In most of the passing situations, you're probably going to see a safety and a corner on Jamison Williams just because of the speed. Amon-Ra's probably going to draw some attention, so that leaves the number 3 receiver. And if old man Tim Patrick can do it, and little Khalif Raymond, I mean, Tazla is the sky's the limit. I'm not sure what his ADP is right now, but this guy I would want on my rosters. I'd definitely be targeting him in all my redrafts. You ready for yours, Fish?
Yeah, let's go for it. My guy, tight end. We know how tight ends are, right? You have your top 3 who, put up 180, 200 some odd points in a season. After that, really, there's a fairly big gap. Now, you can almost anticipate those top 3 tight ends going early in rounds. People are going to waste those picks to get those guaranteed tight ends. I believe that Chig with the Commanders will demand an outstanding performance now that Jaden Daniels is healthy. With an offense that it just seems like they don't have many targets to go around. Chig didn't really have much going on last year, nor really anything going on with Tennessee. He did have 56 catches for 540 yards last year and 2 touchdowns. Decent production. This guy is way too athletic to be just a pass blocking tight end, sitting at 6'3", 238. He's been in the league for 4 years. Keep in mind that the Commanders in a struggling offense the last, year and a half, really until Jay Daniels is fully healthy, they had Zach Ertz, who had very high success in this offense. It seems like that this team really utilizes that tight end, much like Green Bay does with Tucker Kraft. They really utilize the tight end. So what I'm doing in fantasy this year for some of our redrafts they have coming up is I'm going to go ahead and be a running back whore, grab as many as I can. Same thing with receivers. Let all those lovely tight ends, the Brock Bowers, the Trey McBrides, all of them go early so I can swoop in, get a pick, and then get Chig in the later rounds for not the same production, but a little less quality, but he should finish. I mean, if he has a good enough year with Jane Daniels or what he did with Zach Ertz, it wouldn't surprise me if he got a top 7 finish at a Chig. Really gets the showcase of what he can actually do as a tight end and more of a receiving tight end than a pass blocking one. So I have high hopes for him. Hopefully he stays on the roster, unlike Trey Benson. So
you're just so sad about that, and I'm so sorry.
I am very upset about it.
Unless you get one of those top 3 guys, that's the smart thing to do, right? Pad those other spots and then just go for a guy that may have some breakout potential. In Ertz's 2 years with the Commanders, he finished 7th and 19th. He had 654 yards in 2024 and 504 yards in 2025, and he's 35 years old. So, I mean, I think that's a great breakout candidate, Fish.
Not very mobile. So, Chig is mobile, though. We love it.
Zolt, you ready?
Yeah. So mine. Oh God.
I'm so confident going into this.
You're very confident. So mine is Travion Henderson. This one might be a little obvious, but we talked about it a lot last year. I know probably a lot of people were saying it. Why is Butterhands Ramondre still the lead back out there in New England? And we saw what Travion did in the preseason. I think his first ever play was a kick return that he took to the house. I hated watching him at Ohio State because he was really good at Ohio State. He's fast, he's explosive, he makes good cuts. Last year he only had 180 carries, 911 yards, 9 touchdowns, average 5.1 yards a carry. So give this man the rock and let him run. Ramondre still had a bit of a fumble problem last year, not as bad as the year before, thankfully. But I just think sky's the limit for Travion if they decide to give him the ball and let him run.
I think it's a great pick. I mean, you said it's a little obvious, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because with 180 carries, getting 911 yards on that low amount of carries, he could skyrocket into something crazy if, the Patriots decide to give him the reins.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get having the 2-back system, have backs last longer in their careers, get more usage. It's better for the players. It's great. It's awesome. But you have a main guy, and then you have, hey, main guy needs a breather guy. He's the main guy, not the, hey, main guy needs a breather guy.
yeah, he reminds me a lot of early Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb's first game, he had 3 carries for 100+ yards and like 2 touchdowns. And then very closely after that game, Carlos Hyde was released or traded away, and then Nick Chubb became the guy. So hopefully the Patriots do what the Browns did and just give the reins to this guy, and we can have another fantasy relevant player. But
I mean, we can
see.
only hope. Yeah, I mean, I know that he's small too. He's 5'10", 202, but man, he is fast.
Yeah.
He is so fast. And now he knows the speed of the game. But yeah, he had best game, I think, he had 148 yards against the Bills, which that was a pretty good defense. 147 yards against Buffalo, or against the Buccaneers last year. Those games he was averaging 10 yards a carry, 14 carries against the Bills and only 14 against the Buccaneers, and you're gonna get over 140 yards, and give the man the ball. He can run the ball.
So we're going to switch gears here to, these were our breakout candidates. We're going to switch gears to our sleeper candidates. My first one's going to be Malik Willis. Now, I know what you're thinking. Not a lot of receiving options there in Miami. It's not because of the receiving options. He's got a ton of potential running the football. When you look at a guy like Malik Willis with as little weapons as he has, he's an improviser. So he's going to be the guy to come in, try to make something happen with his feet. He may get injured a couple times. He's not, he's not going to be the Iron Man that you want all year. But I ran a couple mock drafts in preparation for this show. Malik Willis didn't go in any of the 10-man 17-round drafts. He was undrafted in each one of them. He's around like draft pick 160, I think. So yeah, if he did go, it was like the last round. Somebody just picking a flyer or a sleeper on him. But I mean, he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a competitor. He looked great in preseason from what we've seen. He's looked really good in, Green Bay when he was there. I just think that, for getting a guy that late in your drafts, that's a ton of value. And I think that's somebody that you can kind of rely on going forward. So he's my first sleeper candidate. And I do have another one. And in those same mock drafts I was running, Eli Stowers was going in the bottom 2 rounds of each one. Now, he's listed as a tight end. We've talked about his physicals before. 6'3", over a 40-inch vertical, very fast. I think he ran a 4.5 40. He's listed as a tight end. He's going to get used, I want to believe, elsewhere. I think he's going to be split out. I think he's going to be used in the offense. The current two receivers that the Eagles have are not big guys. I mean, one's named the Slim Reaper for a reason, and then Malachi, or what's his name, Fish?
Malachi Lemon.
Malachi Lemon.
Lemon.
I don't believe he's very big either. So I think, especially in red zone situations where they're not going to run the football, or if they don't run the football, run like 4 tush pushes in a row, Stowers is going to be a guy that you can kind of rely on. That's where Dallas Goedert managers really had their bread and butter, was in the red zones. Goddard never really had a ton of yards, but I just think that Stowers is going to be a guy that you can really rely on, or at least have on your roster and kind of plug in and be a flex play. So he's definitely my other sleeper candidate for this upcoming year.
He's listed as questionable, and he may not be active on game days, even if he returns to health before the start of the regular season. Just hopefully nothing's seriously wrong there.
For the early weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything with his injury concerns, but
could be perfect sleeper, like you said, though.
He's going under the radar. Fish, you ready?
Yes. I want to talk about a receiver, Parker Washington. No, I'm just kidding. My sleeper candidate is Juwan Jennings. For the simple fact that he goes to a team where they had J.J. McCartney, didn't have much success last year. Juwan had a lot of success with the 49ers, ended up totaling, I think, 8 or 9 touchdowns in that time frame there. Big physical body. He's getting a little older, but the reason why I believe he's a sleeper, I also did some mock rounds, and he's going in the latter half of the draft, just because you have 2 receivers ahead of him, Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison. With the addition of Kyler Murray, who is named the starting quarterback, I believe that team is going to find that new profound passing that they had. Naylor was there last year, slide in the third receiving slot there, and had pretty good success. A couple games where he popped off.
When Addison was out, he stepped up there.
So obviously with all the injuries and such, I don't think Juwan's going to beat people down the field, but he's going to be usually that, over the seam, catch a couple balls up the middle, deep crossing routes and stuff like that. But you're looking for more of a possession guy that's going to get you a good amount of targets, catches, yardage, and obviously the big body, the big frame is going to draw in a lot more red zone opportunities. In hopes, with the addition of Kyler Murray, the passing actually increases. They do what they used to do a couple years ago. Jay Jettas gets back on track. Jordan Addison had a couple injuries that kept him out a couple games over the years. So it's just a nice little sleeper to pick up. Big physical guy. He is listed as the wide receiver 3 right now. So as we know, wide receiver 1 is always going to monitor the cornerback 1, wide receiver 2, cornerback 2, so on and so forth. So with his ability to break away from the cornerbacks or safeties or even the linebacker that's going to overshadow him, his big physical prowess will be able to maintain the on target for Kyler Murray and kind of give him that confidence, especially this short little dump passes. And then Addison kind of slide in that slot position there and kind of have Juwan on the outside as well. So kind of opens up the passing game with that. But he is my sleeper. You're getting him in later rounds. I think there's little to no risk. It's only a reward for this. So
I like it.
Biggest receiver on the roster by far, probably biggest receiver that they've had there in years. Big physical guy, so it's a much different animal than what they've had in the past.
I feel like you're gonna see a lot of Jay Jettas and Jordan Addison on like deep routes, deep crossers, deep maybe posts and stuff like that, where Juwan's just gonna run a short under, so they have an out, like you said, and that's where I think he'll rack up a lot of his points, or like you said too, in the red zone. But I like this a lot.
Yeah, you definitely throw him over the middle too. He's not afraid to just take a hit. I mean, he's not going to get absolutely demolished like BTJ was. So it should be good. I keep an eye on him.
I believe you're up again.
I do. I have 2 overstepping my homework here. I believe that Blake Corum is a massive sleeper in a team that has already come out saying that they don't want Kyron Williams to be the 100% bell cow. They're actually going to drop it down to, kind of what we discussed, keep that longevity out there, but you don't draft a player like Blake Corum and just have him ride the bench. Last year, he touched the ball 145 times for 746 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. That is 5.1 yards a carry, and that's only playing 30.5% of the snaps. If that team is already with the offensive struggles that Rams offense is going to have, they're going to look for an out. I don't think that Blake Corum is an injury away, like Kyron getting injured, away from him stepping in that role. I think just his showcasing ability of the limited snaps and on-field presence that he's had, because he is a great pass blocking running back as well. He's going to draw a lot of attention. Again, one of those players where people are just grabbing him for a handcuff. I don't think he's the handcuff there. I think you're going to see those numbers if they're going to keep Kyron his longevity up. You're going to we're going to pass the torch to Blake Corum. It wouldn't surprise me if we start to see a 60-40 split and even 50-50 by the end of the year. As long as Blake stays hot, it's tough not to give the guy the ball when he's producing numbers like that in such a high-powered offense. So he's my other sleeper. I did a couple of mock drafts. He's going a little higher. He's one of the top handcuffs being taken early just for that reason. But again, I don't believe he's going to be a handcuff. I think you could easily slide him in the flex if you need to, and him still produce points. Right now, in fantasy-wise, he is projected across the board at least 8 points. Keep in mind, that's 8 fantasy points on a guy who only has 30.5% of opportunities. So I'm just saying, as a sleeper, I'd snag him quick.
I had no idea he had that productive of a year last year.
Oh yeah,
he was quiet because they put him in the game, right? Kyron's out, and then all of a sudden he busts a 20-yard run, score a touchdown. And you're like, oh shit!
Yep.
And you look at you look, and he's on your bench. He's got 15 points. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Was that you like 3 weeks last year?
Hey, it was a lot. It was a lot of me, but I got him on the bench. It's cool.
But hey, you got him.
I think if we increase that to 40%, even closer to 50, 1,000-yard season, another 2 touchdowns. It's very, very possible for a guy like this.
Oh no, I love this pick, not just because he's a Michigan man, but we love it. He's built like a brick shit house. He's not the biggest guy, but he runs hard. He's really, really good at finding a hole. Go watch his college highlights. Go watch his highlights from last year. He analyzes and makes very quick decisions and is very quick on his feet. And he is very explosive. There's a reason he is the record holder for most career touchdowns at Michigan, because that offense ran through him. He is why they won the national championship. So I like it a lot. And Kyron normally always takes a week or 2 off. I think he always gets something every year, unfortunately. So I feel like he gets the reins 1 week and he ain't giving them back.
Blake Corum, short king.
He's about average height, isn't he? He's 5'8", 5'7". That's average. That's short.
He's 5'8", 202.
Oof, I'm not 202, but I'm like 5'8.5", 5'9" on a good day. 6'4" stilettos on. So,
all right, Zoltowski, give us your sleeper.
My sleeper, Romeo Doubs. So on a new team, we talked about how the Packers wide receiver room was super crowded last year. Romeo's out of there. Now the Patriots did also just sign Fish's favorite Philly receiver of all time, AJ Brown, and he is going to be the number 1 there. He didn't see a whole lot of targets last year, at about 80 some. I think he had like 700 yards or something like that. So nothing crazy. But I feel like there's a possibility if AJ Brown starts on his bullshit and Vrabel doesn't want to put up with it, Romeo Doubs and it looks the possible issue I see is they also like to throw their tight ends. Hunter Henry got a lot of love last year. He also had like 80 some targets. But he's in a new spot. I think he's really finally going to look to make a name for himself. Wide receiver 2s are always good because, like Fish said, cornerback 1 takes wide receiver 1, cornerback 2 takes wide receiver 2. depending on your wide receiver 1, 2, you might also get some safety help. So wide receiver 2 only has 1 guy to beat instead of 2. Yeah, go ahead, Fish.
I do want to add to this why this is a great sleeper choice. And I don't know if you picked up on it earlier, but the Patriots had made a trade and actually got rid of Mr. Boutte.
Keishawn Boutte.
So
Yep.
also
I
solidifying
saw that.
their
I picked this
trust
before that happened.
in Dubes. So I mean, this is in a high passing offense. I mean, hopefully Drake May doesn't shit the bed, but I mean, this could be big. This could be a huge thing, especially if people if you're drafting in the next couple of days and nobody knows about Boutte's trade. Might be able to swindle somebody out there.
Yep. Yeah, but he's my sleeper.
It's a good choice.
I actually had him and my next guy, which we're gonna talk about now, are flyers, switched, but then I switched him to this. So
Fun fact, when I was looking at photos for Romeo Dubes, there's a lot of Photoshop pictures of him with an even bigger Guardian cap going on.
Hey,
So
you know what?
funny.
I mean, who cares if they're wearing it? Like, let them.
I just thought it was funny.
I know. It's just I know. I've seen them too. Not just on him, but on everybody. So.
All right, now we got flyer candidates. Again, these are guys that you want in dynasty formats that may not have a great year this year, but their future looks very bright. My first one I'm picking here is Nicholas Singleton. Absolute stud at Penn State. He was so good while he was healthy. He had 3,400 rushing yards over 4 years, almost 1,000 receiving yards over 4 years, sorry. And 54 touchdowns total. So he's a very good player, very explosive. Reminds me of Shady McCoy back in the day when we used to watch him play. The reason why his opportunity is so good is because the 2 guys in front of him are not very. Tony Pollard is getting up there, and Tajay Spears has never really been, something to write home about. But I think Nicholas Singleton, if not this year, he will be someone that you definitely want on your roster for years to come. The Titans are changing. I mean, new quarterback last year, new regime. We're going to see what they're made of this year. I really, really like Cam Ward. And I think Nicholas Singleton is a lot like Cam Ward when it comes to, his mindset on things. So
New head coach this year too?
Yep, new head coach as well. And Tony Pollard can't play forever. I mean, he's almost, 30? He's probably 29, 28. He's getting up there. He's getting to that end of running back. So the next guy I want to talk about is another running back, Emmett Johnson for the Kansas City Chiefs. We have seen in the past how Kenny Walker can't stay healthy. In fact, right now, I think he's facing some worries about not being around for week 1. Emmett Johnson was very good at Nebraska. He had some really good flashes in the pan, even during the preseason already. He's got 7 carries for 25 yards and a touchdown. He only played 3 years at Nebraska, so not as crazy stats as Singleton, but he was still a very predominant force, at least in his senior year, or his junior year, rather. He, I think he's a guy that you want on your roster just for the fact that the running back 2 right now is DeMarcado for Kansas City, and he's not. We've already seen what he can do. He's not a very big guy. Emmett Johnson's 5'11", 200 pounds. He's very much a guy that the Chiefs are going to play this year, especially if Kenny Walker does have those spells with injuries. So I think he's going to be a guy that you want on your roster. He's going to be a plug-and-play guy.
And he's already played with Patty Mahomes. Well, his clone.
Yeah, true. Very much knows Dylan Raiola. Just tell me about this guy.
My guy, Jonathan Brooks. We've talked about him over the years. Guys have arguably one of the worst entrances to the NFL. Has torn his knee what seems like 9 times. The good news is that the Panthers just haven't given up on the kid. We know that Chuba Hubbard's been the bell cow the last couple of years, has had a lot of success there, but now as he's getting older, injuries have started to plague him, and actually he might not be available for week 1 against the Dolphins. So this is a perfect time for Jonathan Brooks. He seems healthy. He's making good cuts, right cuts. Actually scored in the last preseason game and broke off a 10 to 12 yard run as well. So it seems like he's getting into NFL form. And again, it's after his first ACL tear and then his second ACL tear on the same knee, and they haven't dropped him from the roster. It just showcases that they're invested. He's getting high praise from a lot of the coaches, especially during the offseason. This, working on that knee, getting it back to what it was, and then, drawing a lot of praise from everybody. Just the ability to cut kind of look like what he did in college. So I like this just because we've seen Chuba, be plagued by the injury bug last couple of years where he has missed a game or two with the coaching staff and everyone here not giving up on Jonathan Brooks. All it takes is one slight ankle injury, and who knows, we might see it week 1 against the Dolphins, where Jonathan Brooks gets the full bell cow role and really kind of gets to showcase what he can do with a very, very weak team in the Dolphins. So it's a late flyer, but there's a lot of things that are trending upwards. And as long as he can stay healthy and doesn't blow out his same knee for a 5th time, things could look up. I mean, it just seems like this is the future. Something to kind of keep in mind, though. He is 2 years into the NFL and he's only 23. So he was drafted when he was 20, 21. So there's still a lot of longevity and a lot of football that this guy can really carry on his shoulders as long as he stays healthy. So again, one of those situations where Chuba can pass the torch to Jonathan Brooks. I think they're going to try and get down to that. I think this is the other team that said, hey, we're not going to give Chuba the full bell cow role. We're going to start to implement Jonathan Brooks more and more and more as the season progresses too. So something to kind of keep in mind as well.
That's a great. I hope it works out for him. I really do. It's been so demoralizing to see him miss out on the last 2 years. I think he went out in preseason last year too. So, tell us about your next guy.
Oh, Mike Washington. Hey, so fun fact, I'm all over the board. Mike Washington, his team plays against the Dolphins on week 1. So we're just in a shit show over here. But Mike Washington, I like Mike for the simple fact that I'll talk about my stay away as well in a little bit. But this is another player who has also been drawing a lot of praise from his coaches, and we've seen him run in preseason already. He broke off that 40-some-odd yard run a couple weeks ago, which looked great. He has the capabilities to really become the bell cow. I just don't know if the Raiders is the correct team for him. He's sitting at 23 years old, about 6'2", 228. With that type of speed, he looks good. Now, we are only an injury away from Genti, who also has an ankle injury right now, who is unsure of week 1 against the Dolphins. They are playing the Dolphins. Sorry. If Mike Washington get the full reins there, because there's little to zero competition behind him, could really bolster very, very well. As of right now, he's kind of sitting at 5-6 points fantasy-wise. With Ashton Genti, with his, he finished 11th overall last year, but had a lot of games where he did not run the rock well. It seems like Mike has a big physicality where he could at least average 3 to 4 yards a carry with that type of speed as well. And working out of the backfield, we know that whoever's going to sit back here, whether it's Kirk Cousins or his son, they're going to utilize their running backs out of the pass game just to gain a little bit more traction, a little bit more confidence. And I think Mike Washington is up there with Nutter's pick. I think him, Mike, and Blake Corum are going to be the quickest and the first 3 to go off for handcuffs out of all the running backs.
I like it.
I do too. And again, we talk about the two back system. You know, yeah, Genty's young, but we want to keep him healthy. That new line out there, Vegas new coach. I like it.
Well, that we already know Vegas has little to no receiving options, so they probably need as much offensive presence as they can get.
Which, speaking of Vegas receiving options,
Yes.
bada bing, bada boom, baby. So when you put flyer in there, I thought like, hey, I'm gonna draft this guy as a long shot, but he's gonna be my flex guy. That's what I thought as a flyer, just to make that. But I mean, he's 27, so I mean, there's potential here. But again, Vegas has no receiving options. He's coming from the Vikings. He was their wide receiver 3 there. We talked about it before. You know, you got Jay Jettis, probably one of the best receivers in the league, and then Jordan Addison, who's pretty good as well. This is his time to shine. Yeah, he's sitting at a wide receiver 2, but you know who he's behind right now? You know who wide receiver 1 is on the depth chart?
Trey Tucker.
Trey Tucker. You know who's behind Jalen Naylor?
Jack Betch or whatever.
Jack Betch. His only target competition, I think, is going to be, other than obviously, running backs out of the backfield, is going to be that tight end that they got that I can't remember his name for some reason, even though he's really good.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. Thank you. I don't know why. Fish, you're sending it my way. You're sending the brain fog, buddy.
You guys are catching what I usually have. I can never remember anyone's name.
At least we're not stuttering. At least it's coming out clear. We're just saying the wrong things.
I believe you make fun of a guy for that.
I flowed right into it too. I didn't stutter. Bang bang. I just like it. I'd pick him up or draft him as a flex guy, like to play as a flex.
I mean, he's
Kirk Cousins. They've played before as well too. He's played with Kirk before.
Yeah.
So
he's definitely going to be the guy to. It's his job to lose. I mean,
yeah.
Trey Tucker, he was good for a couple games last year.
Again, he did also have Geno throwing him the ball, so Trey Tucker could be a lot better than we think. But
I think it's a good pick. I mean,
he's projected, I think 8.3 week 1 against the Dolphins. The Dolphins.
They play the Dolphins. Okay.
The Dolphins. Yeah. So I'm gonna pick him up. I'm probably gonna draft him in this other league I still have to draft for.
We were going to talk about our steer clears.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how much crap I get for mine. If you put it in there. If you didn't, no big deal. I'll still talk about it.
I did not.
Yeah, because I forgot to put it in there until later. It's fine.
So for my steer clears, talking about every Browns pass catcher. Now, I'm not saying that these guys are not going to have these one-off games where they do well, especially Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston.
I was going to say, he looks good.
Even Harold Fannin. It's more because of the guy that's throwing the ball to them. And honestly, it's either one of them at this point. It can be Deshaun. It can be Shador. None of these guys are going to be fantasy relevant for me. Even Harold Fannin. I mean, I hate to say that because he had such a good year last year, but he's probably going to be the top dog on this roster or on this team in terms of receiving production. But you got guys like Luke Floria, very, very young, undrafted player out of Kent State, Gage Larvidon, Jamari Thrash. Jamari's on IR, but I put him on here because he's on the team. Isaiah Bond, Jerry Jeudy. I don't want any part of any of them. The Browns are in such turmoil this year, more than I've ever felt before. It's just it's bad vibes all around. People are booing Deshaun in the stadium. Deshaun is bitching about the fans booing him in the stadium. He's brainwashing his teammates to bitch about the fans booing him in the stadium. And it's like, it's just all around bad. Somebody put up signs at the statue for, what's his name?
Jim Brown?
Jim Brown the other day. like, we're done with the Haslams. You paid a guy with 27 plus victims $230 million to come play here. He sucks. Like, just move off of Deshaun already. People are not happy. Ever since that news dropped Monday, Todd Monken named him the starter. It's just, people are not happy. People are not excited. And I can't really blame the people. I mean, he's been bad ever since he's gotten there.
There's a couple Browns fans that I work with, and I remember I was gonna. The one guy I know is also a Disney fan, and I was asking him because we had talked the day before or the Friday before about the Disney collab. I asked him, "Oh, hey, did you see what the Browns got?" And he's like, "I don't want to hear it. I want to hear about Deshaun." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not talking about Deshaun. I could have told you that 3 months ago that he was going to be a starter." He was very upset. Yeah. And then same with the other guy when I mentioned it to him. I hate that. I don't think you're right on Harry Fannin. I really don't.
Harry might be an overcorrection. And
I'm just saying that because I have him.
Yeah.
I drafted him in both of our leagues last year, and he was really good. And the Browns have always utilized their tight ends well. It's the one thing on offense they do well.
Run the ball.
But the one thing I will say about Deshaun that you made the comments on, like, yes, obviously the fans are pissed. They have a right to be pissed. You guys should have moved on from him. If he's able to get his team behind him, that's kind of a good thing. Because he, as a leader, the quarterback's the leader of, it's kind of a good thing. I guess one positive, if he's able to get his teammates to be on his side.
I appreciate the spin you're trying to put on it, but
no, I'm being legit. I'm 100%. I'm not, like, honestly, he should. I'm surprised he hasn't had suspensions or fines or with all the shit that went on. But like, if he can get his team behind him, that's. But he didn't look good. I saw a video the other day, and his first throw was 5 yards out of bounds, and I'm like, oh,
it's really
Shador week 3. So
yeah, that's our home opener. So maybe
hey, maybe the thinking is that they know Shador has the potential to be a good quarterback. They just want to piss him off so much by making this guy that sucks so much the starter that he just lights a huge fire under his ass.
Possibly, or we're just going for Arch.
Not even that good either. I guess he would fit right in.
It'll press screw him up. All right, Fish, you ready to talk about yours?
I am. My guy that I'm staying clear of, especially in the latter half of the rounds, Ashton Genty. We've talked about the Raiders before. They got a new offensive line. It's just it was a struggle last year. Now they got Kirk Cousins, who didn't really have that much success outside of getting paid with the Falcons. I think teams have kind of gotten used to saying, okay, well, Brock Bowers is the only receiver outside of Naylor that they have now and Trey Tucker. So expect a lot of shadowing from the linebackers and then passing them off to the safeties. So I think they're going to shut him down. And then obviously, once you take away the passing game, they're just going to load the box. Genty last year, don't let the stats fool you. He did sit 11th overall for all running backs. But if you look at the production that he had, was not the greatest. Looking at, I'll just read you some stats here. His opening game against New England, again, very good defense, went 19 for 38 yards. Next one against Kansas City, 6 for 21. Jacksonville was 13 for 42. Dallas, here's a kicker, 6 attempts for 7 yards. The Chargers, 15 for 31. Denver, 10 for 30. Philly, 9 for 35. He did see some utilization out of the backfield, which we did talk about with, getting the confidence and being a pass catching back there. But if I'm drafting and a redraft in that back half, I would feel more confident getting a sure thing. I just don't know if Genty is going to be, especially with this injury that he's got lingering, and then how well Mike Washington has played in preseason. I just feel like even if they're getting blown out, they're not going to want to keep Genty in the game. They're going to throw Mike Washington in there. So now we're just talking about garbage time, with this injury that he has, it could linger. They're going to monitor him. I don't know. I just, for me in all my drafts, it's not a sexy pick in those later rounds where I can get a Chain or, a Barkley or something like that. It's just Genty's a very good ball player. He did great things in college. The team itself is just not very good, and I think other teams have kind of capitalized on that. When Barkley was with the Giants, CMC with the it's a tough pill to swallow because you're expecting high value, high production. And yes, you will get some of the games where he goes 21 for 138 and puts up 32 fantasy points. But then you're also looking at the games where he has 4.4, 5.8, 8.2. Here's another 31 point game, a 24 point game, but then 9.14. It's just very inconsistent for my taste, especially in those latter half of the rounds where you do get the snake back, hopefully, but then you got another 20 rounds before you draft anybody good. So your first 3 picks, really first 2, have to be absolute studs, absolute bangers to stay fantasy relevant. I just don't think Genty is the guy for me. I'm going to stay away from him. I don't like it until they get a little bit more offense, or Mendoza, or Cousins Jr. Once he, it showcases that he's something. I'm staying away from it. I don't like let somebody else pick him and go through the headaches and the heartaches. I don't want anything to do with it.
I like the way you put that, because I was worried when you put this on here that people were going to think that you think Ashton Genty's a bad football player, which he's not.
Great football player. Bad, shitty situation.
Where he's being drafted in the first round, you're not going to get the value for him that you need to win your fantasy matchups. I mean, you listed off tons of games there where he had under 40 yards. That's not going to get it done. So yeah, I think this is a great steer clear candidate, like you said, until they get more offense, or they get more of an identity where they're able to throw the ball, and defenses have to start respecting that. Then yes, I think that your points are validated there.
So real quick, so I pulled up a couple websites while I'm just streaming through this. So you got your typical running backs, your first rounders. Gibbs, this is all tier 1, right? Gibbs, Bijan, Taylor, McCaffrey when he's not hurt. Totally understandable. Here's your tier 2s. The James Cooks, the Chase Brown. I mean, you got to think, especially if you're doing a PPR league, James Cook will be there. Chase Brown will be there. A Chain will be, I would love to tag team with a Chain and Brown. Double dipping in that. Your tier 3, here is where Genty is falling. And this is the middle of the pack. You're talking about Amari Hampton. One, I guess his R&B album's done, so he's back playing football. Kenny Walker, Derrick Henry, who's old. Kyron Williams, who's going to be splitting. Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, and Ashton Genty. Any of those other running backs outside of Derrick Henry, maybe, should not be drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
Like you said, where you're going to get him ADP wise, it just, I'm out of it. I don't like it. Just let somebody else take it. No.
All right, Zoltaski, you ate a steer clear guy as well.
I did. And mine, I know there's no graphic for it. Sorry, I put this in late. I completely forgot to put it on there, so you could make one. It's on me. But I'm also going with a guy. I'm going with a guy that a lot of people are actually like really high on, and I could be completely wrong here. But the situation that he's in, the team that he's on, I'm not a fan of it. And I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love, because and mainly in redraft leagues. Obviously, in a dynasty, snag him, keep him on your bench, put him in your taxi squad if you guys do taxi squads. He's going to do good things in the future. But if you're going to redraft this year, don't draft him. The Cardinals, I feel like they're also beginning a rebuild. They won 3 games last year, and they struggled. We talked about how many running backs they have. He's already hurt. It's just a high ankle sprain, but you're like, it's just not a good look, not a good sign, unfortunately. And I feel like too, Algier finally you've got a vet there in Algier who played with Bijan We call him the touchdown vulture. That's what he's going to do. He's going to vulture the touchdowns. So I'm just not a fan of it. They kept Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback. There's really you've got Marvin Harrison there for a receiver, and I'll love me some Michael Wilson, but who? Half you people don't know who I'm talking about if you haven't watched the show before. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. They're not going to be running the ball. It's not a fan. For redraft. Like you're doing a work league, first year setting it up. Not this year. And we've also seen that transition to the pros is hard. It's a completely different speed. It's a completely different physicality. These are men, grown men attacking you with everything they have. So I don't know. I'm staying away. I'd stay away from him this year in a redraft league.
I'm looking back at my drafts. I'm trying to see where he was taken.
Yeah, I didn't do any mock drafts. I just was kind of looking at I went a lot on newer players, like players on newer teams and guys that showed promise last year, but really just never were given the chance or didn't have that opportunity. So I didn't do any mock drafts for this. I didn't even think about that. He's
going middle, third round. This is a 10-team league, full PPR. He's going middle of round 10, 16 rounds. So middle of round 3, rather. Sorry, Jesus.
Is he right there with Fish's guy?
Right there with Derrick Henry, Trey McBride, Kenny Walker, Kyron Williams. The running backs taken before him are Genty, Hampton, Brown, Barkley, Achane, Cook, Taylor, McCaffrey, Gibbs.
There's a lot more sure guys out there than him too. Again, this is all strictly redraft dynasty. If you didn't do your draft already and you've got 1-1, you take him. Take him. He's gonna be good. He's going to be good
for dynasty.
Yeah, he's going to be good. Is he going to be good this year? I don't think so.
Round 3
if I'm wrong,
tough.
I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, because there's a lot of other factors on the offense. I mean, Allgaier is a huge one. If he maintains his goal line carries.
James Conner too.
Yeah.
But I don't even think I can pull up the weekly stats. But as I'm looking at their schedule last year, just on ESPN, the regular season, they did not have a single game where one person rushed over 100 yards. Their highest rushing was DeMarcado with 81 against Tennessee that they lost 22-21.
I think he broke off a 50-yard run on that one.
I don't know if you guys see what I just put in. I switched my screen to it, but this is the mock draft I was talking about. He's right here, right in the middle.
Yeah, I take Corum higher.
Yeah,
I get it. I get the hype. Was he 1-1? Like, did the Cardinals take? No, who was he first overall this year?
He was 103.
Okay, so still, yeah.
I mean, he's gonna play. Like, I just don't know how productive he's gonna be.
Yeah, Fish. He broke off a 71-yard run in Tennessee. He had 3 rushes or 3 carries for 81 yards, and he didn't even score. So in
the third round, I would take a flyer on him in the third.
I think
because you're simply hoping that
I could see him being right on that edge there.
Gets the dump passes, and Allgaier's gonna vulture. But if I'm doing PPR or half point PPR, I'd rather have the 10 receptions like Brown will get for 50 yards than just the one possible touchdown on the goal line.
Yeah,
but like you said, with Connor coming back, I don't know. It's one of those situations where I feel like you don't draft a guy, especially a running back, 3rd overall, and go, "What? See that seat back there? Well, let's go ahead and take it." we're gonna rest you for a couple years. Like it doesn't. Like
No,
you want to
yeah,
see production out of him.
I 100% get it. I just think that with everything that Arizona doesn't have going for them,
What are your guys' thoughts on Skydaboo? You think he's going to be as good or productive as he was last year? I wanted to incorporate him in the show. I just didn't know where to put him.
I was thinking about possibly putting him here, but I have him in a league, and I like his mentality, but I feel like his mentality is going to get him hurt again. He is going to get concussed when he runs into somebody and they lay his ass out.
So he's going into the fourth. That's
one thing that the Giants have tried to train him this entire offseason is to make the cuts, even if it's the first or second cut, not just hit the hole and then run face down. So again, that's a situation where we know that the field is just an ACL curse, right? It snatches legs left and right, ankles too. We look at that team though, the Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbor. I mean, you got a new, Jim Barbaro, Isaiah
Likely, yep.
You're talking about on paper a very, very good offense, but is this also dipping into the same situation that the Lions had, the 49, at one point the 49ers had and stuff like that, where you have the Bears is a great example too with DeAndre Swift. He'll get his carries and he may score a couple touchdowns. There's way too many offensive weapons. Yeah, is that going to be the similar situation with him? I don't know. You could train the guy all offseason to make that first cut. Once you get in that mindset, once you're locked in for this football game, you're going to revert right back to where you used to do him for the last 20 years. So, barring any injury, I think he'll be fine. It's just going to be a very tough pill to swallow without water. If what's this guy doing? Sleeping?
No, I'm here. My graphics card just bugged out, and now my video feed's gone.
So that's
good.
No, I can still see you guys. I can still hear. I can still play. It just like everything went black. And I thought because it's storming here, actually pretty bad. Like,
sick.
The house is shaking like 3 times. So I'm glad. But
to your point, yes, I think he'll be fine. I think where he's being drafted, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope he has a shit year, but that's just because I don't want
to
have any success.
Yeah, I get that.
Any honorable mentions you guys had for like sleepers or flyers? I have one name. I didn't put him on here because he just got hurt, but Keaton Mitchell. I just think he's going to be something crazy over there in LA. Running back for the Chargers.
Who is there's 2 receivers. Both are named Washington. One plays for the Jags and one plays for the Dolphins. I think Parker Washington plays for the Jags.
The Dolphins playing week 1?
The Raiders. Parker Washington, as of right now, he's listed as the number 1.
Malik.
Now,
Malik.
No, Parker Washington for the Jags as Parker. Malik is for the Dolphins.
Wait, Parker's listed at 1? What about BJT? BTJ?
He's currently listed at 2.
ABT.
With that being said, Parker has... God damn it. Yeah, Parker. Parker has been dealing with a hot hand who, in an offense, had a very high success rate in passing, especially down the field. So we've seen flashes in the pans with Parker. It could be something kind of worthwhile, especially if you have a flex spot. I mean, as of right now, he's projected 11 fantasy points across the board. So, and then Malik Washington, not his brother, but another Washington who plays for the Dolphins, who plays Oakland. Is it the Oakland? No, Vegas Raiders. Plays for Vegas Raiders. I gotta go take a nap or do something.
Let's just play some Overwatch.
This guy needs a flow chart.
But Malik, again, in an offense where everything's going to run through a chain, we're a little unsure about Malik, their quarterback, who could be great. We've seen both ends of the spectrum on that one. He's going to have to look towards his number one receiver, who is also a Malik Washington. So, again, flex-worthy options, possibilities there. I like the Parker Washington one. I think you had a graphic up, but we don't have to show. Oh, man. What a day.
Worked so hard on those graphics.
What a day.
I think that's going to do it for the show. We were going to play some games at the end, but kind of went longer than I thought. I kind of thought this would be an hour show anyway. Let us know some guys that you were excited about going into the season, some dudes you like, and comment down below. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, if we're wrong, let us know. Again, I could be wrong.
And please,
I think all my other ones
about
were
my Browns.
Great.
Tell me I'm overreacting. Someone hold me hard.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Only a couple more years.
Thanks for being a gent. We'll see you guys.
See you guys.
Watch out next year for the Browns.